Good morning to all of you. Now onwards, we are discuss about the various coagulation anticoagulant drugs. In this series of the video, we discuss about the oral anticoagulants, heparin, low molecular weight heparin, antiplatelet drugs, fibrinolytics, and antifibrinolytics. Today we discuss about the antiplatelet drugs. Okay, so before jump to the antiplatelet drug, uh, we have the two type of the thrombosis. One, there is a arterial thrombosis which is occurred in the artery, and second one is a venous thrombosis. Both are different. In artery, the major role it is about the platelet, and in venous it is about the fibrin. Okay, so this arterial thrombosis it is a due to the platelet it is a white. In venous thrombosis there is a red color. Okay, so in arterial thrombosis the major role it is a platelet. So in arterial thrombosis we are using the antiplatelet drug, and if there is a venous thrombosis there is a major role of the anticoagulant drug. Either it is a heparin, it is a low molecular weight heparin, oral anticoagulant like the warfarins, and other newer drugs like the factor 10A inhibitor and dabigatran, which is the direct thrombin inhibitor. Okay, so today we discuss about the antiplatelet drug. So these platelets provide the initial hemostatic plug at the vascular injury. Okay, and this antiplatelet drug it is useful in some condition like the myocardial infarction. There is a in coronary artery there is a thrombosis. Okay, so there is a MI, there is a stroke, peripheral vascular disease also like the peripheral arterial disease. Okay, there is a role of the antiplatelet drug. So in the primary hemostasis our goal is to formation of the platelet plug that rapidly stabilize the vascular injury, and it involves the various steps of the platelets. Okay, transformation in the platelets. There is a adhesion. First one, there is a platelet adhesion, then there is a activation and granule release reactions. Third one, there is a aggregation of the platelets, and there is a consolidation. Let's see the classification. In the classification, one drug which is the aspirin. Okay, most commonly used antiplatelet drug it is the aspirin lower dose. It is a thromboxane A2 inhibitor. It is a cyclooxygenase inhibitor, COX inhibitor. Okay, aspirin and desoxyban. But this desoxyban it is not used nowadays because of the laser efficacy and also the ADR. We use the aspirin. It is a thromboxane A2 inhibitor. Then second one it is a ADP receptor pathway inhibitor or P2Y12 blocker. It is a clopidogrel, ticlopidine, prasugrel. Then newer drug it is a cangrelor and ticagrelor. Okay, in this we are using the most it is the clopidogrel and prasugrel. Ticlopidine it is not used because of the various ADR. Then other drugs it is a phosphodiesterase inhibitor. It is a dipyridamole and cilostazol. Okay, so it inhibits the phosphodiesterase enzyme, and there is an increase in the cyclic AMP level. Then other it is the GP2B3A antagonist, and it is the efzimfimab, eftifibatide, tirofiban. Try to remember EAT. Okay, it is a eftifibatide, tirofiban, and efzimfimab. Then protease activated receptor antagonist, or there is a thrombin antagonist. It is a vorapaxar. Okay, in vorapaxar it is the P for protease activated receptor, and antagonist there is a, try to remember X. Okay, so it is a P, it is the protease activated receptor antagonist, and X, so it is a vorapaxar. It is a newer drug. And some other like the prostacyclin analogs, it is a ipoprostenol and iloprost. So before jump to the how this aspirin or other drugs act as an antiplatelet, there is a balance between the thromboxane A2. Thromboxane it is released by the activated platelet, and it is the initiation the reaction of the platelet activation, and ultimately there is a platelet aggregation and plug formation. Okay, so there is a balance between the thromboxane A2 and there is a prostacyclin. Okay, if there is an increase in the thromboxane A2, then ultimately there is an aggregation of the platelet, it's a increase. Okay, and this prostacyclin it's inhibit. Okay, so it is the arachidonic acid which converted into the thromboxane A2 by the cyclooxygenase enzyme. This aspirin, lower dose of the aspirin 75 milligram, 50 to 150 milligram. Okay, normally we are taking by the 75 milligram or 150 milligram tablet. So it's a block this COX and ultimately it decrease the okay, it decreases the thromboxane A2 formation. So ultimately it is not acting on the platelet thromboxane A2 receptor. Okay, so ultimately there is a no more process occur in the platelets. There is a no increase in the calcium release and it is not acting on to GP2B3A. This GP2B3A in last step it's binding with this fibrinogen. It's binding with this fibrinogen and ultimately there is a adhesion of this platelet with other platelet by this GP2B3A and fibrinogen binding with other platelets. Okay, so there is a main, it is a aspirin and second one it is a GP2B3A. So this COX inhibitor it is a aspirin and other NSAID also, but it not as much as effective like the low dose of aspirin. So we are using the aspirin alone. Then GP2B3A is a, we already know it's a eptifibatide, epciximab and tirofiban. In this figure, let's talk about the ADP which is acting on the platelet, okay, platelet P2Y1 receptor, and we have the various drugs like the clopidogrel, ticlopidine and prasugrel. Ticlopidine it is not useful nowadays because of the ADR. So this is the ADP and ultimately it is acting on the P2Y receptor. Okay, and thrombin it is acting on the thrombin receptor which is the Vorapixar. It's a newer drug. This figure show collagen and von Willebrand factor which is released from the endothelial damage or platelet disruption. Okay, and it is acting on the platelet. So there is a platelet adhesion and secretion. There is a thromboxane A2 and ADP secretion. This thromboxane A2 is acting on the platelet recruitment and activation. ADP acting on the P2Y1 2 receptor. Okay, so this platelet it releases the thromboxane A2 and there is an enzyme, it is a COX1 cyclooxygenase enzyme which is inhibited by the aspirin. ADP we already know P2Y1 2 receptor, clopidogrel, ticlopidine, prasugrel, cangrelor and ticagrelor. And ultimately at the last step there is a GP2B3A activation and it is the binding with this fibrinogen and other platelets. So it is the last step which is inhibited by this GP2B3A antagonism. So it is the necessary for the platelet aggregation. So this GP2B3A antagonist it inhibit the platelet aggregation, platelet activation and recruitment. It also inhibited by this aspirin and ADP receptor antagonist. And other newer drug which is acting on the thrombin receptor or protease activated receptor, it is a Vorapixar. Okay. So let's see the cyclooxygenase inhibitor. It is a aspirin. So this aspirin we already talked. It is a inhibit the COX1 enzyme. Okay, and it is a ultimately act by the this covalently acetylating the serine residue near the COX1. Okay, active site. So it inhibits the COX1 and thromboxane synthesis. So there ultimately it inhibits the thromboxane A2 synthesis, and this is the permanent because platelet have no nuclei. Okay, so ultimately when the newer platelet or newer enzyme already form, then there is a coagulation action. Then there is a antiplatelet activity of the aspirin. It is maintained mostly for the 5 to 6 days. Okay, so these aspirin, try to remember dose. It is a 75 to 150 milligram or 50 to 150 milligram lower dose. Aspirin have a lower dose with the 75 to 150 milligram having the antiplatelet effect. If we increase the dose, then this effect is not seen. So if we want to the antiplatelet effect of the aspirin, then we give the lower dose 75 to 150 milligram. Okay, so it inhibits the thromboxane A2 formation. If we increase the higher dose, then ultimately it inhibits the thromboxane A2 and PGI2. This PGI2 we already told about the prostacyclin. So if it also inhibits the prostacyclin, then it is not useful for as a antiplatelet. Okay, so it is also not good. Prostacyclin अगर decrease करता है तो, so we are taking this drug in lower dose. ADR, if we talk about the ADR, this most of the ADR is seen either with the analgesic or anti-inflammatory. In lower dose of the aspirin, there is an increase the bleeding tendency. Okay, and we already learn in the NSAID part, so we are not discussing here. So it chances of the increase the bleeding tendency. Okay, so if person goes to the surgery, major surgery, then if it's taking the antiplatelet drug, we stop this antiplatelet aspirin at least for the 7 days. Okay, if patient go for the major surgery, we stop the aspirin for the 7 days and then take the patient for the surgery. Try to remember 7 days. Because why? Because of the antiplatelet action. Okay, and platelet have no nuclei. There is a no nuclei. Okay, so fresh enzyme time to the synthesize, and it is almost the 5 to 6 days. So we stop the 7 days this drug. If we don't stop, then there is a chances of the breakthrough bleeding. Okay. Then another drug, it is a phosphodiesterase inhibitor. Another drug, it is a group is a phosphodiesterase inhibitor, and in it is a dipridamole. Okay, this phosphodiesterase inhibitor ultimately it increase the cyclic AMP. By decrease its degradation by the phosphodiesterase. So there is an increase in the cyclic AMP, so it inhibits the various protein kinase activity, and ultimately it decreases the intracellular Ca+2 release. Okay, so there is a decrease in the platelet aggregation, and this phosphodiesterase inhibitor, it is a very weak effect, so we are not using alone. If we want to use, then it use in the combination with the either with the aspirin or the warfarin. Okay, we already know about the ADR of the dipridamole as an anti-anginal drug. Okay, but some common, it is a abdominal discomfort. Okay, try to remember for the Viva person, there is what is this coronary still phenomenon. Okay, what is this coronary still phenomenon? It is already discussed in the angina part. Try to remember this thing. Okay, so it is used as a prophylactically against the thromboembolic disorder, particularly in the arterial. Then ADP receptor pathway inhibitor, we have the clopidogrel, ticlopidine and prasugrel. First drug is the ticlopidine. Okay, this clopidogrel, ticlopidine, prasugrel, it is a prodrug. Okay, these three drugs, it is irreversibly inhibit. It is a prodrug, and it is irreversibly inhibit the ADP dependent pathway or the platelet activation. Okay, so it is a irreversibly inhibitor this P2Y12 receptor. Okay, and due to this irreversible action, it also the action persists for the 6 days. But we are not using this ticlopidine because of the various ADR like the aplastic anemia, neutropenia, and there is a thrombotic thrombocytopenic purpura. Okay, these are the more major 3 ADR which are seen with this ticlopidine. So we are not using this drug nowadays. We are using this clopidogrel. we are using clopidogrel 75 milligram OD. Okay, try to remember this drug. It is also the common, it is the clopidogrel 75 milligram OD. It also used with the aspirin 75 milligram and clopidogrel. Okay, so it's the second generation. Then the ticlopidine, it's a closely related to the ticlopidine, and it's a pro drug. Try to remember, it's the pro drug. Okay, and it is a variable reaction with the CYP2C19. Okay, involved in the activation of the clopidogrel. Or so some drug which are inhibiting this CYP2C19, like the omeprazole. If we inhibit this enzyme, then there is the not formation of the not activation of this clopidogrel. Okay, so it is decrease the antiplatelet activity of this clopidogrel. So if the some drug which is the omeprazole, one example, if it inhibit in inhibit this metabolism by this enzyme, okay, so ultimately there is a no activation of the clopidogrel. So decrease in the antiplatelet activity. Try to remember, clopidogrel dose is 75 milligram, ecosprin 75 milligram. Okay, it's a aspirin dose. Okay, it also having the same ADR like the ticlopidine, but it the lesser chances, and major concern is the diarrhea, epigastric pain and disease. Okay, with this particularly clopidogrel. So in one trial, which is the MATCH trial, it evaluated the efficacy and safety of the combined clopidogrel and aspirin therapy to clopidogrel alone in the high risk patient, okay, with stroke or transient ischemic attack and with some risk factor. And this MATCH trial result is the greater efficacy with the combination therapy on the primary endpoint. Okay, but a highly significant increased risk for the life-threatening bleeding. So it is superior if we are using the aspirin in clopidogrel, but patient must watch for the major bleeding. Okay, and particularly if there is a bleeding start, then most common side it is the hematuria. Okay, so give the advice to the patient, see the if there is any bleeding in the urine, okay, there is a hematuria or some hemoptysis, or there is a in stool. So these are the concern about this combination of the aspirin plus clopidogrel. Another drug, this is the prasugrel. Another drug is the prasugrel. It is also the pro drug. It is also the P2Y12 inhibitor. Okay, and it is also the irreversible. Okay, but this drug is the most potent. Try to remember this. It's the most potent drug, and see the dose. It's the most potent dose is a 10 milligram OD, and even in the old age, it is a 5 milligram. Or if there is some renal insufficiency, then it is a 5 milligram dose. So it's the most potent drug. It is a prasugrel. Okay, and it is a prefer in the diabetic. Okay, that is the most potent, and so there is a chances of the more bleeding compared to the clopidogrel. Okay, and see here, it's in less than 60 kg or patient having the greater than 75 kg, then ultimately cautiously it's used, and it's a 5 milligram dose. Okay, and this CYP2C19, which is the occur with the clopidogrel, it is less effective in this, important in this prasugrel. So nowadays prasugrel also it is used in some patients. Then we have the two drugs. It is a cangrelor, and second one is a ticagrelor. Okay, this cangrelor and ticagrelor both are newer drug, and these are the reversibly inhibit. These are the reversibly inhibit the P2Y12. Clopidogrel, ticlopidine and prasugrel. These are the irreversible inhibitor of this P2Y12. But here there is a ticagrelor and second word is a cangrelor. It is a reversibly inhibit. Try to remember this thing. It is useful in the MCQ purpose. Okay. And this clopidogrel, ticlopidine, prasugrel and ticagrelor, it is a use orally. So we left with the one drug. It is a cangrelor. This cangrelor is a not used orally. Okay, so orally P2Y12 inhibitor, then drug is a cangrelor. Okay, so it's a adenosine analogs, reversibly inhibit the P2Y12, same. Okay, so it is a useful IV bolus followed by the intravenous infusion, and it is a short action. T-up is a 3 to 6 minutes, so it's a recovery within the 60 minutes. So it is useful in the hospital setups. Okay, this ticagrelor, it is a dose is a 180 milligram, then 90 loading dose 180 milligram, then it is a follow up, that is a 9 milligram BD. Okay, so rapid onset and offset, it is a reversibly inhibit and orally active. Okay, so more predictable inhibition of the ADP, induced platelet aggregation, than the clopidogrel. Okay, so these are the antiplatelet which are useful. We see in the therapeutic use. So these are the drugs which are used in the arterial thrombosis, and this arterial thrombosis is seen in the MI. Okay, there is an unstable angina, there is a coronary syndrome. Okay, acute coronary syndrome, then there is a MI and unstable angina. We are using this antiplatelet drugs. Okay, some coronary angioplasty, then we are using this antiplatelet drugs. Okay, so these are the drugs which are useful for the particular condition in the cerebrovascular disease like the stroke or transient ischemic attack, which is if we want to say, then it is a type of the mini stroke. Okay, so these are the drugs which are useful in the as a antiplatelet, and these we learn about this antiplatelet, anticoagulant, fibrinolytic. These are the some drugs, and ultimately one ADR, it is a common because it is a affect the coagulation, so there is a bleeding. Try to remember this thing. Okay, then last drug, which is a GP2B3A antagonist at the last step. Okay, final common pathway, ultimately we want to stop about the aggregation. This GP2B3A, it is a binding with this fibrinogen, and ultimately this it is a binding with the another platelet, and there is a platelet aggregation. So if we stop this GP2B3A binding with the fibrinogen by the GP2B3A antagonist, so this platelet aggregation is a stop. Okay, and this drug is a useful as a anti-platelet drug. Okay, so these, let's see, these GP2B3A receptor are the inactivate on the resting platelet, but undergo the conformational changes when activated by the platelet by the ADP, thromboxane A2 and thrombin. So when there is a thromboxane A2, ADP, thrombin do the work on the platelet, then ultimately this GP2B3A, it is activated. Okay, this activated, it is binding with this fibrinogen. Okay, so it is a fibrinogen and one Willebrand factor, and ultimately it increase the platelet to the foreign surface or even with the platelet. So there is a platelet aggregation and platelet adhesion to the particular foreign sites. Okay, so it is a main about the platelet aggregation, this GP2B3A antagonist. Try to remember this thing. So in the first drug, it is a efzimumab. Okay, efzimumab, it is a नाम में ही है MAB. Okay, so it's about the MAB. It is a monoclonal antibody. Okay, it is a monoclonal antibody XI, so there is a humanized monoclonal antibody. Okay, against the GP2B3A. Okay, it also binding with this vitronactin receptor on the platelet, vascular endothelium and smooth muscle cell. Okay, try to remember this thing. Try to remember name efzimumab. Okay, ADR, then it is a major bleeding, intracranial hemorrhage, thrombocytopenia, hypotension. So this drug, it is given by the intravenous infusion. Okay, so with conventional therapy reduce the both long and short term ischemic event in the patient going high risk percutaneous coronary intervention. Okay, so it is useful in the PCI. and dose is a 0.25 milligram per kilogram bolus, then there is a 0.125 microgram per kilogram per minute 12 hourly. Okay, so these are the useful in the percutaneous coronary intervention. Okay, then eptifibatide. Eptifibatide is again, we have the mnemonic EAT, F6 हो गया, then eptifibatide. Okay, it is antagonized by the GP2B3A receptor, same thing, but this drug is different with the F6 it does not act on the vitronectin receptor. F6 it is act on the vitronectin receptor. Okay, so and it is less effective than the F6 ADR, the same is the F6 It also useful same as a antiplatelet in the acute coronary syndrome and percutaneous coronary intervention. Try to remember dose. It's a 180 microgram per kilogram to the 2 microgram per kilogram per minute up to the 96 hour. And these are the drugs which are useful in the hospital setup. Okay, so we are more focused. If you are in the Viva and asking about the antiplatelet drug, try to remember the first drug in your tip of tongue. It's about the aspirin. Okay, aspirin, ecospirin 75 milligram, 150 milligram, okay, 50 to 150 milligram. It's a dose about the aspirin. Okay, then tirofiban. Tirofiban same as a GP2B3A antagonist. Okay, and dose it's written here. Okay, try to remember. Then newer drug is a protease activated receptor antagonist or thrombin receptor antagonist. If we talk about, then try to remember name, it is a Vorapixor. Okay, and it is a use only with the as a adjunctive to the aspirin and or aspirin with clopidogrel, because this efficacy of the Vorapixor is not established as a single agent. Okay, so if we want to use with this Vorapixor, then we use with either with the aspirin or either with the aspirin plus clopidogrel plus Vorapixor. Okay, and obviously these three drugs if we are adding, then there is a chances of the more bleeding. Okay, so where to use this antiplatelet drug? Okay, so this antiplatelet drug, in first few slide we talk about antiplatelet drug at a major role in the arterial thrombosis. Okay, why? Because in arterial thrombosis there is a role of the platelet adhesion, एक्टिवेशन एंड एग्रीगेशन. थ्रोम्बस जो बनेगा उसमें मेन रोल होगा इट्स अ प्लेटलेट. सो वी हैव टू ब्लॉक दिस प्लेटलेट एक्टिविटी. सो वी हैव द एंटी प्लेटलेट ड्रग. ओके, एंड वेयर दिस arterial disease ultimately it is effective, it is if it is occur in the coronary artery, okay, or other artery which is supplying in the heart, then there is a coronary artery disease. Okay, there is a acute coronary syndrome, there is a chances of the angina, and if there is a more thrombosis, and there is a chances of MI also. Okay, so it is useful in the angina patient, it is useful in the MI patient, it is useful as a prophylactically. Okay, after the MI, prophylactically we are using for the prevention of the second or subsequent attack of the MI, we are giving this antiplatelet drug. And most common drug is aspirin, clopidogrel, prasugrel. Okay, these are the drugs. If we in the intervention like the coronary angioplasty, okay, then we are using this ticagrelor, okay, cangrelor. Okay, so some other drugs, okay, this is EAT, we are GP2B3 antagonist, it also useful in the hospital setups. Okay, but if we are used in the home setup or orally drug, then we have the choices of the aspirin, clopidogrel and prasugrel also. It is also useful in the cerebrovascular disease. So if even there is thrombosis of the carotid artery, then there is a chances of the attack. It is a transient ischemic attack. It is a mini stroke. Okay, stroke like condition. So ultimately we want to prevent the further stroke. So we give the aspirin, and with the aspirin with the dipyridamole, which is more effective than the aspirin alone. Okay, so these are the drugs which are useful in the coronary artery disease, acute coronary syndromes, cerebral vascular disease. Okay, it is also useful in the prevention of the reocclusion of the prosthetic heart valve and AV shunts. Okay, so we are giving this antiplatelet drug, and this antiplatelet drug, if it is not effective, then we adding the other oral anticoagulant drug also. Okay, it is also useful in the dialysis, hemodialysis, hemoconcentration. So ultimately it reduces the platelet loss during this procedure, like the dialysis. So it is also useful in the during the dialysis. Okay, patient in the patient we want to the dialysis. Okay, it is also given in the intermittent claudication. Okay, peripheral arterial disease hai, and there is an intermittent claudication. We are giving this antiplatelet drug, particularly this dipyridamole and silostazole, but it is not more effective. Okay, in the intermittent claudication. So we are giving the drug in arterial disease. We also, it is not effective, so we have to add with this oral anticoagulant drug. Okay, so this is about the antiplatelet drug, and this is the references. Most of the figure it is taken by the Goodman, Gilman and Golan. And okay, so try to refer these books also. Thank you.